Hello guys and welcome to episode 5 of Masterclass Mondays. Now, I've done a lot of sessions recently with people that are struggling as bowlers to get their foot behind the front foot line. Not only seamers but spinners as well, and it's a massive challenge for a lot of people. The first time they go out onto grass, a lot of people, especially younger age groups, would have grown. Their legs would be different lengths, their strides would be entirely different. So it's a massive challenge for a lot of people when they first get outside on grass. And then for guys that are a little bit older, more adults, just being able to get the feeling of what their rhythm and in their run-up is like is really important as well. So what I'm going to talk to you through now is a little step-by-step guide about how I go about setting people's run-ups up to ensure that they, when they do need to make a change, how we can mark it out and go from there. So if you want to follow me now, what we're going to do, in a usual circumstance, I would get a bowler to mark out their run-up as normal. So front foot line, mark your run-up out, they would go and mark it out. I will then take these away. The reason for me doing that is to ensure that there is no marker at this end that they feel they need to hit. We're looking for what they find is comfortable from their run-up through to here. So if they bowl from down here, whilst I'm doing this, I don't mind. If they bowl from back here, I don't mind. What I will then do, given the current circumstances around the pandemic, I'll do this on my own. In an ideal world, you'll do this with two people, is I will put a marker down on their jump point, so where they take off from, and where their front foot lands. So again, you can see ideally you'd have two people for doing this. And over a period of time, I'm just going to chuck these out randomly here, what you'll start to see is a pattern of what that bowler feels comfortable doing. If you don't see a pattern, then the bowler has got a bit of a disconnect in what they feel is right and wrong, and then you need to have a look at building what they feel their run-up needs to be before they even get to this end. So then looking at these now, so if you want to come a little bit further around and look at these, what you'll then see is kind of one anomaly here, but then you'll see kind of like a pattern of where they jump and where they land. So what I will do now is I'll get a tape measure out. I put the tape measure here, so you've got the front edge. I would then take the back edge. And then that distance would be marked out as their jump point. I would then take from the front foot line all the way back to where they were running up from as their full length run up. We will then take that, put the stumps back into play, and then take those two measurements from the front foot line, mark it out that way. So then you will get their jump point. So say, for example, their jump point was back here. I'd then put a marker down. They would then bowl from whatever their run-up is from now behind the line, take off. And what we tend to find more often than not is that they're behind the line. The other things they can do with this as well is, unless their jump point is a long way back, in which some umpires won't be comfortable doing, you can ask the umpire to stand in line with where you want to jump from. So you then know as the bowler, if I take off in line or from behind the umpire, I know I'm going to be behind the line. No matter how bad my run-up feels, in an ideal world, we want it to feel brilliant all the time. The reality is that we know it's not always going to be like that. Whatever my run-up is, as long as I know I take off from here or behind, I'll be behind the front foot line. So there's a brief explanation through it all. I've done a couple of sessions that I've put out on social media that you can have a little look at now to see what I mean in real action. Have a look at these. So what we'll do is, if you mark that out, use one of those spots to put out as your marker at this end. What I'll then do is I'll remove the stumps, and then I'll just keep an eye on the side where you take off from and where you land, and then we'll take that, get some measurements out, and hopefully we get you behind the line. Take your furthest forward point of where your front foot lands. We're going to take your furthest back point from where you've jumped from, and we're going to take that at the end. That gives you full run up and your take off point. Alright, so we're going to measure that out now. So now all we need to have a think about is how we make sure we take off from or before that point. There's nothing down down this end that I want you to worry about. All I want you to do is just what feels comfortable and bowl. So this is pretty much what we're seeing.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, just to build you in a little bit of margin for error, your foot tends to be landing about midway through this lot and towards the front of this. If we take the front and the back, that gives you a bit of margin for error. So if you bowl a quicker ball and you go a bit wider, or you say if there's anything that feels different. So what I want you to do now is to go from here, like you're walking through your run up that way, so the left foot first, and I want you to shout out the number when you pace your steps out to there, and then your number at the end. What I would usually do is you basically jump in line with the umpire. I won't do that, so obviously keep our distance. So if you just look to get your right foot to hit that mark when you bowl, and I'll have a watch to the side, see how you get on with your front foot. You need to try and bowl your quicker ball ever.
Alright.
You're shy of a 3D rocket.
Sounds good.
30-mile-an-hour difference to your normal
We'll
leg.
be there.
So even that one is a 2/3 third.
Yeah.
Cool, happy with that. So if you collect, oh my word, almost fell over there. If you collect them up, what I'll do now is I'll get 2 more spots out. Because one of the things that I know you do really well is use the depth of your crease. And what we want to do is be able to mark that out at that end as well, so you've got clear understanding of where you would start to then be able to go again effectively. Alright, so if I get those 2, I'll clear these away. Hey.
So the main issue I'm having at the moment is like my run up.
Yeah.
That I'm sometimes I'll be like this far short. Bowling, and sometimes I'll be this far over. And it's not like I'm stuttering or anything. It's just a stride length thing.
Yeah.
And then rhythm through the crease. It's like I'm really struggling with my consistency as well. I don't.
You've pivoted in this space, and you've been right up here in where you've landed. Now, from the feeling that you've given me, these are the 5 that felt best so far. So what I quite like to do, so I'd like to get the tape measure out, mark it from that line to here, see how long that is, but then also how long it is back to where your spot is, and then seeing if we can take that distance and that pivot point, put it behind the line, and see where that goes from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So by logic, if you pivot on that point or behind it, you should be behind the line. Yeah, good boy. Do you bowl round the wicket to left-handers? Do you want to give that a try? Thanks ever so much for watching, guys. Give us some feedback on what your thoughts are. Obviously, it's a really interesting subject around making sure that we can get people behind the front foot line. It's so important for everybody going forwards. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you.